Hey, good kind people, what is going on? Lee Sanders here, checking out the RCWR show for Saturday night of July 17th, 2021. We are coming on just a few minutes after Impact Wrestling Slammiversary pay-per-view event, main event match, Kenny Omega taking on Sami Callihan for the Impact World Championship in a no DQ match. Gotta tell you, this was a pretty good card from Impact Wrestling. Overall, there might be a couple of areas that had a few people kind of scratch their heads and go, what's going on there? But I would say for the most part, the pay-per-view was actually pretty good. I mean, it's honestly a good way to go into Sunday, since we got the Money in the Bank pay-per-view that's going to be coming up and everything. But if you were to ask me straight up, Lee, I was thinking about checking out the Slammiversary pay-per-view, but the $40, dog, that's pretty fucking steep. I don't know if I really want to pay that amount. It's pretty steep. But what would you say overall? Should I go on ahead? Should I spend the $40 and check it out? I would say to you, if you got the money to burn and you want to represent and you want to see what's going on with other wrestling promotions, because that's in your repertoire and all that, then I definitely would say go out of your way, check it out. If you're the type of person that, you know what, unless there was a whole bunch of monumental things that went down from this particular show, then it's kind of one of those, you know what, you might be a little bit on the fence with everything that had happened tonight. So I think it really, really depends. Honestly, it really, really depends. But that's a tough call. You really got to dig down deep and look within. Like I said, there's definitely some really cool parts all throughout the Slammiversary event. Now, Rebellion was pretty damn good. I know that was well received unanimously. I definitely felt that the Rebellion pay-per-view they did a couple of months ago was pretty solid. That compared to this, I'm going to say, yeah. I'm actually going to say that Slammiversary tonight was better than Rebellion. Believe it or not. Believe it or not. Now, I did check out the pre-show matchup that we have for Slammiversary. That was pretty damn solid, and I was happy that that shit was free, by the way. It was nice that that was free. So that one was Havoc and Rosemary taking on Kiera Hogan, Tasha Steelz for the Impact Knockouts Championship, Tag Championships. We got new tag champions in Havoc and Rosemary. I'm okay with that. I am totally okay with that. Look, man, you guys know, because when I was offering predictions and preview on Friday's RCWR show, I told you guys I was very conflicted because these were two of my favorite teams, and I have been a big fan and supporter of Fire and Flavor these past several months. They've really been coming into their own pretty damn strong. So to be in this position where I got to choose my favorites against another set of favorites, I definitely felt very conflicted. But just from recalling the last little bit of things that I saw in Impact, because full disclosure here, and if you were to ask me what's going on, what's the source of it, I can definitely tell you what the source of it is, but I probably have not watched Impact Wrestling, the TV show, on a consistent basis in almost 2 months. And if you were to ask me what's going on with that, what's the real reason why, for me, it's quite simple. Yeah, there's a lot of cool men and women that are doing their thing in Impact without a shadow of doubt. But what's been kind of a sour taste in my mouth is what's been going on with Kenny Omega as the Impact World Champion. That for me, and we kind of have been talking about this off and on these past several months, but we definitely revisited it again on Friday's RCWR show. So you all, not to beat the horse to death, but you all know exactly how I feel with what's been going on with him as this belt collector so far and everything. So for me, that really kind of had me back away a little bit from the Impact product. Yeah, sure, I check out the Twitch events that they do, whatever pay-per-views they got, sure. But right down to the point, I remember I was in the Discord earlier tonight, and I had said to folks, I said, look, man, if Kenny Omega retains this Impact World Championship over, of all people, Sami Callihan, I don't know. I think I may go on ahead and just continue to miss out on the TV shows. I mean, I'm already missing out on them anyway. And yeah, it's like that for me, because it's like, man, I'm seeing all these cool favorites in Impact. You're looking at your guys such as Moose. You're looking at other guys such as, okay, well, surely maybe it's going to be Rich Swann. Maybe Rich Swann is going to have things come full circle for him. Okay, well, you know what, man, maybe, just maybe, it might be a guy like Willie Mack. Hell, maybe it might be this guy. And it just seems every time these guys, they just get knocked down by Omega. And so, yeah, that's where I honestly was at and everything with that. But yeah, about 2 months worth of Impact shows I have not watched. But the little bit that I do recall seeing, I do remember how Havoc and Rosemary were chasing after Kira and Tasha for those Knockouts tag titles. And for whatever respected reason, I thought it was so odd. I thought it was so random. I still remember when they lost the tag titles there. And I remember coming on the post show just going, what the hell? Like, they just became the Knockouts tag champions not long ago, and we're already having them drop the titles. And it kind of seemed as though Havoc and Rosemary were chasing after them. What's going on here? How does this make any sense whatsoever? So it's nice to hear that everything came back and they ended up getting the tag titles, and Rosemary, Havoc chasing after them for it and everything. I honestly feel that, given the storyline that I remember last seeing, I think that the right team definitely went over here tonight on Slammiversary. Without a shadow of doubt, the right team went over. And I'm going to continue to sing the praises of Kiera Hogan and Tasha Steelz. I mean, they are the baddest mofos in the Knockouts division, man. Seriously, they are the baddest. I love them. I love them tremendously. I mean, leaps and bounds. They have really done their part in making that division interesting, I would have to say. But solid pre-show matchup. Color commentators, Matt Striker, D'Lo Brown. Solid job, as always. Little bit of audio issues here and there. Some of the audio issues that I was noticing, for instance, I could actually hear at many times throughout the night, I could hear Josh Matthews doing his thing as the producer, calling for certain things to play out, messaging, trying to radio in something to D'Lo and Matt Striker, and that was happening more than once throughout the night. You just would have had to had a keen ear to really pick it up, really keen ear, because it was coming in bursts, and those bursts were only lasting but for a handful of seconds. But if you could get past those audio issues, other than that, I would say overall presentation pretty damn good. By the way, fans in the house for this event, it felt very studio-ish. If you guys have ever seen an episode of NWA Power, you guys know, before the pandemic particularly, you guys know how the fans were pretty much doing their thing at the studios. Definitely when they were doing their pay-per-views and you saw the fans kind of sitting in bleacher seats, if you will, it kind of had that type of intimate atmosphere. It was very intimate crowd setting that you had going on. There was definitely a lot of spacing out that was going on too amongst the fans that were there in attendance. By the way, a shout out to the guy Miguel that won the Slammiversary contest. He got to win the ultimate grand prize, having front row seats, all that. He looked like he had a really great time. Yeah, he legit looked like he did. Couldn't be happier for a guy. I just think that's cool that Impact Wrestling had put that nice, cool little package together, and contest, if you will. And, he was the one that had won it and all. I think that's cool. And I would say that for anyone that had won it. That's just something that kind of really sticks out in my mind, though, because I think I think one of the main reasons why he sticks out in my mind is because, one, he had a really cool last poster of Sami Callihan. And I don't know if he personally drew it or if a buddy of his did the artwork for it. You guys got to peep it out. If you guys maybe are kind of going back and forth and you may end up checking out the Slammiversary event, definitely peep out his poster. You could definitely see it all throughout the main event match too. Man, it was a really cool kick-ass poster. I got a lot more to say about that poster. You know what? I was going to bring it up later on, but I mean, I guess we can go there right now since we're kind of talking about it and everything. You know, when Kenny Omega and Sami Callihan were brawling all throughout the arena and everything, you know, you got one particular spot where you see Miguel, and he's just talking a big old hot ball of trash to Kenny Omega, telling him he sucks, all that. And Kenny Omega is just looking at him. He actually looks at his sign and then goes back to attacking Sami Callihan. I'm going, nah, dude, be a true mega fucking heel. Like, take that nice, cool-ass looking drawing of Sami Callihan, tear that sumbitch up, and throw it right back in Miguel's face. Really get him involved in the show. Really put yourself over as that badass heel that everyone just loves to hate. Capitalize on how the crowd is reacting to you. Play to it. Make it be your strength. And the fact that Kenny Omega didn't do that, I was just left scratching my head, kind of going, damn, dude, seriously? Like what the hell? Like, seriously. Dude would have been okay. Miguel would have been all right. I mean, just picture that. You tear it up, right? But then after the pay-per-view is over, you're off the air. Man, you got Kenny Omega and other guys. They all just come together. You know, hey, sorry about that. You know, it's just part of the biz. Hey, look, we're going to hook you up with some nice, cool little memorabilia stuff. Hey, we're actually going to piece that cool poster back together for you, and we're actually going to all autograph it, right? I mean, how cool is that? Seriously, how cool is that? So for me, that was just kind of, come on, man. How you going to miss that right there? How you going to miss that spot right there? I'll talk a lot more about that main event match later on in the show, I promise you guys, because I have a lot to say, especially some of the things that I have to say about Kenny Omega. You actually may be surprised. Yeah, you actually may be surprised. Let's keep rocking and rolling, though. First actual matchup on the pay-per-view card, X Division Championship, Ultimate X. Trey Miguel, Rohit Raju, Ace Austin, Chris Bay, Josh Alexander defending his X Division Championship in an Ultimate X match. Josh Alexander retaining the X Division Championship. Fantastic match. Fantastic pacing. Great opener. Really setting the tone for the pay-per-view. Gotta give all these men a lot of props. I'll tell you one thing that was actually pretty cool too, because I had a nice private viewing party for this pay-per-view, and Rohit Raju was getting so much love from us tonight. I was loving it. Seriously, I was like, now you guys are seeing what I've been talking about. And not for nothing, I will let it be no secret, Rohit Raju, it wasn't an instant with me. It just wasn't. For me, I actually had to warm up to Rohit Raju because honestly, no beating around the bush. I remember at one point just looking at this guy going, whatever Impact sees, I'm not seeing it right now, sadly. I want to, but I'm not quite seeing whatever Impact is seeing. But it's been amazing to see what he's been doing as far as from a character development standpoint. Now, sure, you definitely could make the argument that, well, you know, what Rohit Raju is doing is nothing particularly special. It's not like what he's doing is totally unique in its own way. It's not like he's doing something that's very original and first person that comes to mind of that type of originality in a wrestling performer. Oh yeah, Rohit Raju. You could make the argument that what he's doing is an interpretation of things that he's seen. You could basically pull a Tyler Breeze and everything that he does with the mirror. You can look at that and you can pretty much say, okay, you're pulling a you know, whoever you want to insert. Just insert whoever you want to insert, wrestler-wise. You can pretty much say, okay, he's pretty much copying off of all of these other guys. So you can make that same argument for Rohit Raju if you wanted to. But no, for me, I got to give it up to him. What he's been able to do as a character and as a in-ring performer, top-notch quality, good. Definitely got to give it up to him. Fantastic Ultimate X match. Love some of the creative spots that they had in this. It was pretty solid. Great storytelling, great pacing as well. Fans all throughout the night heavily invested. All these guys received a pretty good reaction from the crowd. So no problem with this opener of a match. Gia Miller catches up with Don Callis outside of Kenny Omega's locker room. Yeah, he's pretty much just hyping up the main event match that's going to be coming up. Mixed tag team matchup. Brian Myers and Tennille Dashwood. Remember, this is the intergender mixed tag match here. Brian Myers and Tennille Dashwood teamed up to take on Matt Cardona. And just who exactly was Matt Cardona's mystery tag partner? Who? You know, we heard a lot of rumblings. We went over a couple of names on Friday's show. And if you guys remember, at one point in particular, when we got to the knockouts match, I said to you guys, oh, wait a minute. Remember that? You know, we were sold on this match. But then when we got to the knockouts championship match, that's when I had to actually take a step back and say, well, wait a minute. We forgot these other people. Wait. And we had to basically reshuffle and everything. So when it was all said and done, the person that would come out to be Matt Cardona's tag partner, very close ties to him. Extremely close ties to him. I believe, are they married yet? Are they even married yet? Because I know they got engaged a couple of years ago. If you were to tell me they aren't married yet, I totally can understand that, because 2020 alone, especially if couples had plans to get married in 2020, that whole pandemic, there are so many people that are getting married in 2021 right now. It's freaking ridiculous that a lot of people just said, nah, you know what, let's just fast forward. Let's just go to 2022 instead. Really put this pandemic in the rear view mirror. We know where things are going to be way better. Let's just be done with 2021. Go right to 2022. But yeah, Chelsea Green, the bride, making her return to Impact Wrestling, received a great pop from the crowd. Very well received. I loved it. I ate it up. Love every single minute of it. It was pretty badass. And, you know, I love how she came out. She had these really cool, you know, it kind of had a Suicide Squad meets Joker kind of vibe to it. Yet at the same time, I loved how she incorporated the bride in that gimmick as well. Because remember, one of the last times we saw her in Impact Wrestling, you know, she was running around there as Laurel Van Ness or the bride, and she was just, that grew on me over time, because I wasn't always a fan of the bride gimmick. And let me tell you something, if you never really found yourself clicking to the work of Chelsea Green when she was over in WWE recently, you guys are definitely in for a treat. You should definitely make it be your business to catch up on some of her previous work, not just only in Impact Wrestling, but, you know, and it's really, really funny, because she kind of gets a bad rep, I personally feel, by some folks, and she's not deserving of it. And that's not me taking a personal shot at anybody particular. I'm just saying in general. For some people, you know, she gets a bad rap, and it's unfortunate, because, you know, this is somebody that's been at it on the independent since the late 2000s. She's been at it since like 2013, 2014. Not only did she have those couple of years with TNA / Impact Wrestling, but she also did some stuff for Lucha Underground. I don't know how many of you guys remember that, but shout out if you do remember her briefly there and Lucha Underground. So look, you know, she ain't no Charlotte Flair, she ain't no Sasha Banks, she ain't no, you know, she ain't no Bianca Belair, but she's in her own right. She's a pretty damn good wrestler, to the point. Not for nothing, nothing personal, but Matt Cardona and Brian Myers, when they were going at it, I gotta be honest with you, I found myself disconnecting so much. I was losing so much interest. I was more interested in seeing Tenille Dashwood, who we know is very fucking solid as an in-ring performer. I was more interested in her and Chelsea Green locking up. And sure enough, when those girls have finally locked up, especially after Chelsea Green got in the hot tag, oh man, you should have heard the crowd. The crowd actually loved it. That got more of a reaction than Cardona and Myers going at it. So marinate on that for a little bit. Seriously, marinate on that for a little bit. But the team of the engaged couple, Cardona and Green, going over in this mixed tag match. So great return for Chelsea Green. You know, pretty simple match, pretty straightforward. Nice reception from the crowd for her return. Going to be very interesting to see where this goes. I kind of have a feeling that we're not quite done with this little rivalry between Myers and Cardona just yet. Singles matchup was next. W. Morrissey, Big Kaz XL in action against Eddie Edwards. You know, we kind of had fun with this one because it turns out so far in his Impact Wrestling career, Morrissey has had about 6 matches. And when you break down, okay, well, what has he actually done on TV? How many matches has he actually done on TV? It's like, no, just grand total, he's done about 6 matches. I had a hard time believing that, too. I really, really had a hard time believing that. Because I'm like, wait a minute. Surely he's done a lot more. And then it led into another discussion, which was, okay, well, for big guys like Morrissey, should he really be on TV like that, having all these matches every single week? Should that really be going down? Or should there be a little bit of a mystique to him and everything? And I'll let you guys debate on that one, because I think it's a great debate. I think it's a great topic and everything, especially if you've been watching the Impact product and you've been seeing what's been going on with him. Now, again, I have been disconnected from the Impact TV shows within recent weeks, but last I had saw of Morrissey, he was being built up as this mega monster heel. So one of my first questions to folks, well, is he even still a heel? You know, are they still building him up as a monster heel? And they're like, no, yeah, they're still building up as a monster heel. So that was nice to know. That was nice to know that Impact didn't steer away. They're still going the course with him from what we saw initially when he debuted for the promotion. I thought this match against Eddie Edwards was pretty damn good. Eddie Edwards went above and beyond in putting Morrissey over as a monster freaking heel. He really, really did. You know, really helped take him up to that next level. The crowd, you know, they really participated in this one. They were heavily invested in this one. Really great storytelling, and I tell you what, Eddie Edwards did a phenomenal job going into this matchup, really coming off as a true underdog, because you're just looking at Eddie Edwards. And then you're looking at Morrissey and you're going, I just don't know. Like, yeah, Eddie's got a lot of heart. He's got the will. Hell yeah, no doubt about it. He's got the determination. But this might be a position here for Eddie where he's biting a lot more than he can chew. He may be way above water right here. I loved it. I love the storytelling that they did with this one. Great chemistry between Morrissey and and Eddie Edwards, really. You know, and it's so interesting too, because, you know, constantly you hear how Eddie Edwards is the heart and soul of Impact Wrestling. He bleeds that promotion in and out. All he does is bleed, sleep, you know, think, all, he's just straight up all Impact. So, you know, what happens if you have somebody that just bleeds colors of Impact Wrestling cross paths with such a diabolical creature, heartless creature at that, and W. Morrissey, that gives two fucks not? Oh, I mean, you got yourself a very, very interesting encounter here. From what I've seen so far of Morrissey and Impact up to this point, this was probably one of his best outings to date for Impact. As far as I'm concerned, this was definitely one of his best outings. Good stuff right there. From there, we get a vignette for the Drama King. This is most likely referring to Aiden English, who is going to be arriving soon in Impact. Got no problem with that, especially if it turns out that's what's about to go down, that it is about to be Aiden English debuting for Impact. Totally okay with that. Totally okay with that. Next up, there is a interview with the Impact superfan, Miguel, who I was talking about earlier. Madman Fulton and Shira, they interrupted. They targeted some refs from banning them earlier. Scott D'Amore comes out, says to them, hey, you know, we're going to take what's going on with you guys, the negative here, that's all going down. We're going to turn it into a positive. You're here. You're spoiling for a fight. I actually got a tag team just for you that's willing to put up some dukes and take you guys head on. It was the return of Finn Juice. Finn Juice made their return. So, tag team match, Madman Fulton, Shira taking on Finn Juice. Finn Juice picking up the dub. You know, I guess it was okay, especially if you're looking for like just that nice, good feel moment or whatever. But I mean, for me personally, I just felt as though, I'll be honest with you, and this is no shade to any of the men that participated in this tag match, but I'm just going to call it from the heart. It honestly felt like an intermission. That is honestly what it felt like, a straight up intermission. Hey man, your popcorn's in the microwave. Your dog's got to go to the bathroom. You got to go to the bathroom. This is your time, buddy. Go ahead, go do it right now. This is for you. This is your moment. Look, y'all can tell me till y'all blue in the face. Nah, Lee, Finn Juice, what they were doing in New Japan. Oh, man. Beautiful, magnificent, awesome, cool, superb. You can tell me all of that. Sorry, not sorry. What I've been seeing of them in Impact Wrestling so far, it's just been, okay. Filler. That is exactly how it's been. Just filler. Doesn't do anything for me. You know, I wish I felt totally different about this. I really, really do. And I remember when Juice Robinson, I remember when he was in the WWE. Yeah, I will give that man mad props. The transformation that, you know, what an incredible journey that he has been able to do for himself as a performer and everything. But I'm not quite seeing anything, you know, just yet that just has me, you know, wow. I'm not seeing that just yet. David Finlay, on the other hand, I see so much potential. So much potential in David Finlay, especially as a breakout singles competitor. I see a lot of potential with David Finlay. How much potential do I see with David Finlay? Some could make the argument that, you know what, David Finlay has already strung it all together and he's already there. He just needs for somebody to pull the trigger. But for me, I still feel as though there's still a little bit of chipping, a little bit more chipping away that he needs to do, piecing everything all together. But hopefully he finds this as a big compliment. But I can definitely see him within the next 5-7 years tops. I could see him just where he's at right now, and where I could see him potentially be. He could definitely be that next Daniel Bryan. He could definitely be that next Adam Pearce. He could definitely be that next. It's another name on the tip of my tongue, guys. I'm thinking about Pac for sure. That's the name that was slipping on my tongue there. Next Pac. I always say Pac, but Pac. I could definitely see him. He just needs a couple of more years, but I could definitely see. Look, not for nothing. He's already been a Impact World Champion, and he's already been an IWGP Tag Champion. He's been a never open weight tag champ. He's been a junior champion. So I mean, he's slowly chipping away at it there, but I still feel that the best is yet to come. But I see so much potential. I see a lot more mileage in him than I do with Juice Robinson. Sorry, not sorry. I will say this, humble apologies to those I may alienate with that, because I know there's probably going to be a lot of New Japan fans that's going to hear that. Like, what? You said what? Like, just come. Let's talk about it. I'm all open ears for you guys. Let's talk about it. Singles match. Moose taking on Chris Sabin. Boys and girls, y'all got to school me on this one, seriously. Y'all got to help a brother out with this matchup. Because, again, doing this little private viewing party, we're watching this match. We see how Moose is coming out. And as far as ring attires go, I got to give it up to Moose. For ring attires of the night, Moose at number 1, Deonna Purrazzo at number 2. Kick-ass ring attires. Moose particular, he had a gladiator, like a Roman gladiator type of outfit going on about him. It was badass. Gold and white mixed in with a little bit of silver, I believe. Epic. Epic fucking badass. I loved it. Truly loved it. But man, if you were to tell me that Chris Sabin was going to defeat Moose, I would say to you, was Moose okay? Did Moose get injured or something and they had to go with an audible? What happened here? Because that doesn't make any sense. Like, what happened? If you were to tell me that Moose was going to play down to the level of Chris Sabin, right? Just think about those two things for a second, but think about the latter. You'd be like, wait, what? That doesn't make any sense. What are you smoking, Lee? Can I have some? But that's exactly how this match played out. I got to tell you, to see Chris Sabin with the finish and just how everything had ended there, to see Chris Sabin come out with the dub, that was just mind-blowing. Fucking mind-blowing. And it just really made a lot of us take a step back and say, wow, so Moose re-signed with Impact Wrestling. I don't know what the hell that was. Something just dropped just now, and I don't know what the hell. Give me a second here. Let me see what that is. Guys, we had a light bulb that just blew out. That's what that noise was just now. Hopefully, let me see something here. I don't see any glass, so that's good. Yeah, we literally just lost a light bulb. So if you see that side of the room going dark, that's exactly what went down. We lost a light bulb. So we just keep rocking and rolling, man. It's live, pal. It's live. So before my train of thought was interrupted, we were talking about Moose and Chris Sabin there. Look, a lot of us just looked at this match particularly and we said, wow, Moose re-signed with Impact, and This is what we got going on right now. Like this is what we got. Now look, me personally, I'm not saying nowhere, not even a stretch. I'm not saying Moose was buried. I'm not saying that whatsoever. It's just that, can I be real with you guys? Speaking on, and I think I speak very eloquently on behalf of all the Impact Wrestling fans that have been a big fan and supporter of Moose for so many years now. So many years now. We see the potential with Moose. We do. The guy has been, for a guy that never did anything with WWE, maybe at most went to wherever WWE was holding some tryouts, hoping that maybe he could get the next call and possibly come on down to the Performance Center, and it never came to be. You know, really, for a guy that's really never done anything with WWE, pretty much went out there on the independents and just kept chipping away, making a name for himself and all. He's done pretty damn good for himself. If there was anybody that we felt within these past 7 to 8 months that was truly capable of dethroning Kenny Omega, bring back the Impact World title back to Impact, Moose was the guy. Many of us felt that way. And to just continue to see the strings of, I mean, really think about that. Probably the last greatest, coolest thing that has happened in the Impact Universe world of Moose, that was a really cool high point of his career, the phenomenal match that he had with EC3. But since then, it's pretty much been very, very, I mean, great matches, don't get me wrong. Great matches, pretty memorable feuds, but he keeps getting the shorter end of the stick. And if you're a Moose fan, you're a fan of Impact, you just can't help but go, man, Impact, you guys had so many opportunities these past couple of years now to pull the trigger on Moose, yet you didn't pull the trigger. What is going on here? Is this some type of an internal thing? You know, is it a personal, like, what exactly is going on? What is stopping this guy from reaching that next level? What is stopping him from reaching that pinnacle? Very mind-blowing. Very, very mind-blowing. You know, look, if you are expecting me to come on here and say, oh, Moose, Chris Sabin, beautiful, fantastic, awesome. No, I'm not going to go there, because for me personally, I didn't like the psychology of this matchup. I got to be consistent, because let me tell you something. How would that look if I were to say for this match, especially you guys that check out the multiple shows that I put out each and every single week? I always tell you guys how I like to be consistent. How would that make sense if I were to talk about this match and say, beautiful, superb, amazing, yet I'd be that same guy that had a problem with some of the mixed matches that had came up earlier in the week and last week? I brought up Raquel Gonzalez locking up there with Xia Li. I mentioned the whole height differential and just how silly that had looked. Remember that? I mentioned how with Fyter Fest, Ricky Starks, Brian Cage, I mentioned how the whole psychology of that whole match was laid out so freaking wrong. Remember that? So how would that look if I were to home in on those examples, right? But then I give Moose and Chris Sabin a pass. That doesn't, come on now, that doesn't make any sense whatsoever. It just doesn't. Yeah, Moose should have been going into this just doing his damnedest to use his brute force, his strength against freaking Chris Sabin. And if you want to have it be a story where Chris Sabin is pretty much using his height and his speed to his advantage, He's constantly going in for the knees. That's how he's pretty much taking down Moose. And he just, off the ropes, and he's just pretty much doing it that way. Okay, fine. I didn't even see a fraction of that. Damn sure not to start. Not really to start. Look, I'll tell you what. I'll gladly watch it again. I will watch that match again. And maybe I'll come back here on Monday, and maybe I'll tell you guys, you know what, I've had a second change of heart, but maybe I'm blinded. I'll give you guys an out that did like that match. Maybe I'm blinded by the fact that, man, I expect so many good things to happen with Moose, and sadly Moose is just continuing humble pie. I don't know what the hell is going on, but the brother keeps eating humble pie. Me personally, I hope they're not done. I would just love it if on the very next episode of Impact Wrestling, Sabin is just chilling somewhere backstage or whatever, or maybe he's hanging out with Johnny Bravo. Swing man, daddy! And maybe Moose just comes out of nowhere and tries to finish up what got started so many weeks ago. To each its own. Hey, you guys have been enjoying this post show so far. Please do me a huge favor, especially since it's free. Doesn't cost you a thing. Do me a solid and make sure if you haven't done so already, you hit that. Bam, there it is. It disappeared there, but bam, now it's back. Make sure you hit that like button. When you do that, that pushes out the content out there for the YouTube algorithm team. Lets them know, hey, people had checked this out. They liked it. Also, not for nothing, but if you check this out long after it airs live, you're watching it on demand, leave comments. I definitely want to know what you guys had thought about Impact's Slammiversary pay-per-view event. All right, definitely leave those comments. All right, so let's keep rocking and rolling here. We got some more action to talk about. Fatal 4-way Impact Tag Team Championship match. Rich Swann and Willie Mack taking on Fallah Bahh with a mystery tag partner, Good Brothers and Violet by Design, as they were defending the Impact Tag title. So who was Fallah Bahh's mystery tag partner? Well, Fallah Bahh came out and he pretty much did this whole thing where he was like, no way, Jose. And you're like, no, really? Yeah, no way, Jose. Except he's being called No Way. He's being called No Way, and then you hear No Way, Jose. This was just... And me and the wifey actually had a hearty laugh at this one. It was pretty funny too. I gotta explain this too. So let me set this up properly. So I see him come out, No Way Jose. He's doing his little conga, and he's got all the people that's dancing with him and everything. And you're like, yeah, I remember you now. Yeah, after the dancing is over though, that's when it's kind of like, yeah, well, that was fun. So what's next? It's kind of like one of those type of deals. But what was so mind-blowing to me, and this is the perfect analogy I have for this, seeing No Way Jose tonight at Impact reminded me a lot of a musician that, say, 2-3 years ago had put out a white hot single. Man, it hit the radio airwaves. It was one of the most downloaded songs on social media, on the music streaming platforms. It got nominated for some awards, whole 9 yards. The person that sung that song though, man, they did not want to do any interviews. They did not want to go on tour to promote that single. They did not want to do any collaborative joints with other musicians. Nope. They didn't want to do anything. And they were like that for a couple of years. And then one day, they just decide, you know what? Kind of feel like going on ahead and going on tour. Now I want to play that song. I want to play that song. I want to see how many people I might be able to get that can come check me out. And I wonder how many people will now do a collab with me. And right? So, for those of you I'm kind of losing, you're not quite connecting it. It's like, okay, so No Way Jose. All right, this dude was released by the WWE, what, April 2020? Okay, now, just think about this for a second now. Think about this for a second. Yeah, the pandemic was a little bit rough, but motherfuckers were able to find work somewhere. They legit were able to find work somewhere. But yeah, apparently he comes back essentially over a year and a half later. I'm sorry, guys. But you feel where I'm coming from? It's like, wow, you know, like it'd be one thing if, okay, he was released April 2020, and then he pops up July, August 2020, and he's still, you're like, oh, okay, cool. But it's like, nah, we're gonna, I know it's been a year and a half, but I really like this, and I want to go with this. Look, the Impact fans, they seem to love it. They seem to be engaged. You got the fans that's now back in attendance for Impact. Look, on TV, that's going to be great. Just visually. Look, for fans in attendance, great. For fans not there and they're watching it on their TV sets, great. Fucking great. But much like what was the same problem when he was in NXT and ultimately, I think he was on Raw too. Like, okay, let's get past the music. Let's get past the dancing and all that. Let's get past the conga lines. Let's get right down to the nitty gritty. It's just, meh. Hey, look, I'm with you guys, and we all are in total agreement. Not everybody needs to be gunning for, a world title, intercontinental title, or the secondary title. Not everybody needs to be going for the top 2 titles in the company. We can all be in agreement of that. And you know what? Not for nothing, guys. But I can look at both sides of the same coin, and I can say to you guys, cold-heartedly, maybe I would feel entirely different if I didn't see so many people over the decades do the same goddamn shuck and jive gimmick. Do we really need to spend several minutes going over previous acts? I don't think so. We're all pretty smart, right? We all that are somewhat wrestling historians, we don't need to go down there, right? Anybody that's kind of a younger, newer fan, we can pull a Paul Heyman and just say Google it, right? We can do that. Still, maybe I'd feel a lot different if, you feel me? But yeah, that's just where I am. That's just where I am. Look, the tag match on the other hand, I was really rooting for Rich Swann and Willie Mack. I felt particularly strong for Rich Swann and Willie Mack to go over because, man, you talk about 2 guys that really stepped their game up and was representing big time during the pandemic at its worst. Rich Swann, Willie Mack, in my heart of hearts, I'm going, man, definitely toss them a bone, especially for Rich Swann alone. Definitely toss them a bone. Didn't go that route. Good Brothers. Good Brothers are the new Impact Tag Champions. When I gotta admit to you guys, when I saw this go down, I honestly said to myself, shit, this is a preview of what's to come in the main event match. I guarantee you. Some people feel that this was predictable as far as the Good Brothers going over. I don't know about that one. I call bullshit. I don't know about that one. Special guest at ringside. Camera was really playing up to her. Matt Striker, D'Lo Brown trying to do their best to put this, young woman over and everything. Look, I'm not going to read too much into it right now, but I wouldn't be surprised if at some point in the next 2 to 4 years, we may be seeing her do some stuff with Impact Wrestling. You want to remember the name Alicia Zapatella. She, if you know a thing or two about your boxing, MMA stuff, she is fighting for the Invicta Fighting Championships. Invicta Fighting. And apparently she's the Invicta Fighting Championships atom weight champion. All right. So just home in on that name. Kind of have that in your, back of your mind somewhere. I have a feeling that we're going to be seeing a lot more of her, at least in the world of Impact Wrestling, in the next 2 to maybe 4 years. From what they were saying about her, she's a big pro wrestling fan. Big pro wrestling fan. She's a short little thing now. She's a short little thing. She's about maybe 5 foot, maybe 5'1", if lucky. She's got a mixed martial arts record of 9 wins, 2 losses. Now, when you break it down, she's had 12 matches total. So when you break it down, as far as the wins, it's 9. By submission, it's 2. By decision, it's 7. By losses, it's 2. By no contest, 1. So, a little bit of stuff that I saw of her online, not bad. Not freaking bad. So keep that in the back of your mind. We'll probably see a lot more of her. Impact Knockouts Championship match. Deonna Purrazzo. Who was she going to be defending this championship against? Remember, a mystery opponent. Gail Kim pretty much has set this up. I threw some names at you on Friday. And when we were talking about this match, I said, so where's the bar? Like, are we going the Ruby Riott route, Heidi Lovelace? But then I brought up the question, what is going on with that contract of hers? Because if I remember right, she was released in June. So you're like, okay, yeah, did she really get a 30-day there? Or is it maybe 60, 90 days? But you still couldn't help but say, okay, let's go, look at the bar. Or we're going to go as high as, but then I believe I also threw Chelsea Green in there as well. I also mentioned Thunder Rosa. And we did talk for several minutes about the NWA Impact Wrestling potential relationship. We talked about how things went south with New Japan and WOW Women of Wrestling when Ed Nordholm pretty much had bought up through Anthem Entertainment the remaining stocks of control/ownership from Mark Cuban of Access TV. And check out Friday's show. So to see that it would be none other than Thunder Rosa, great fucking moment, man. This was a fun physical matchup, balls hitting, loved it. Thunder Rosa totally, and I tell you what, man, she got such a huge ass pop from that crowd. I loved it. It gave me goosebumps. I fucking loved it, man. Great storytelling. And I tell you what, man, to see, first off, for Billy Corgan, man, he's got my utmost respect. And the main reason why he does is because here's a guy that went into Impact Wrestling years ago, remember? He wanted to do so much. He invested so much of his time and money, and he was trying to do his best to help Impact Wrestling stay afloat. And just look at how at the very end, Billy Corgan pretty much got dicked out of owning Impact. I mean, it really was just yoinked from under his feet. And then you had the nasty litigation/lawsuit that came afterwards. I mean, that was just pretty much ugly in itself. Eventually things were settled, but man, just to go through all of that drama I wouldn't blame anybody after having that type of a toxic business relationship. Yeah, you know what? I'm done. I don't want to have anything else to do. I'm good. Right? Then they say time heals all wounds, but there's just some things you come across and you just go, yeah, nah, I'm done. You can miss me with that. Never again. So he gets my mad respect, that Billy Corgan, to say, okay, you know what? Bygones are bygones. My headspace, business mentality, everything I'm doing right now, this is where I'm at right now. I'm cool. I'm good. You know, okay, so we got Ed Nordholm. He's doing his thing. He's doing his thing with Impact. And you're like, okay, all right, cool. Cool for Billy Corgan to just put all of that personal shit to the side and be like, okay, let's think about the future. Let's think about how we can potentially utilize this partnership to our advantage. You know, how we can make this really cool for us and everything. And to basically have it be a case where NWA is going to be able to tap into Impact Wrestling's roster, beginning with some of the knockouts there, to help out NWA with their Empower pay-per-view event coming up in August, same weekend as NWA 73. Awesome. I'm loving it. No complaints from me whatsoever. No complaints from me whatsoever. Again, great Knockouts Championship match between Thunder Rosa and Deonna Purrazzo. And I got to tell you, once I saw it was Deonna Purrazzo taking on Thunder Rosa, my mind was like, okay, you know what? This could go either way. Crazier things have happened. This could go either way. So I got to tell you, I was pretty nervous because I remember when I was giving predictions for this, I believe at one point I said, I think Virtuoso, may lose it to whoever this person is that's going to be the mystery opponent. But at the same time, I said to you guys, I'm going in, I'm starting to like her. I want Virtuoso to win. Got to go with Virtuoso, stay with her a little longer. So the fact that Deonna was able to go into this and she got the dub, yeah, loved it. Fucking loved it. So post-match, Mickie James coming out, trying to give Deonna her flowers, saying to her, look, in case you don't know, I'm doing my thing over in NWA. I got this all-women's pay-per-view that's going to be coming up, and, I told the entire world I'm going to be going to any promotion. I want all the women. I want nothing but the very best women to represent at Empower. And I'm personally coming to you because I've seen your work these past several months. I respect your game. I respect everything that you've accomplished thus far. I want to personally invite you to participate at this Empower event. And Deonna Purrazzo, she was pissed. She was pissed. She came right back at Mickie James. How dare you come out here stealing my moment? If you were really respectful to me, you really meant well. You wouldn't be coming out here pretty much making it be all about yourself. You know what you can do. Yeah, no shit. No shit you want to invite me to your promotion. I got so many offers from other promotions, you have no idea. So many promotions want me to work for them. Nah, you know what you can do? You can take yourself and grab your trash bag and get the hell out of here. And you got the whole crowd that popped when they heard that whole thing with the trash bag. It's like, yeah, no shit. That was trending on social media there, that whole situation with Mickie James from earlier. Mickie James did not take a liking to this, as there was a brawl between the two. It pretty much ended with Mickie James Mick kick to the temple of Deonna. And that pretty much was it. This was sweet. So, I mean, there you go right there. I mean, that's essentially your instant Acme feud. if you will. So I am just praying. I'm just praying that how this was set up, I'm hoping that we're going to get Deonna Purrazzo going on social media, talking a good hot game about Mickie James, maybe even throwing some shade on her on these next new batches of TV tapings for Impact. But then at the same time, I'm also hoping that somehow, no way we're going to get it. There's no way we're going to get it. I'm thinking right now, there's no way we're going to get it before this month is out, because NWA, they've already done their tapings. So we can forget about that. But I would like to believe, because I remember when we did the show on Friday, I told you guys some of the dates that was going to be coming up for Impact Wrestling as far as their TV tapings. So I would like to believe that sometime in August, definitely before the Empower event, I would like to believe that somehow there's going to be some type of a syncing up. And basically, how badass would that be to see Deonna Purrazzo cross on over to NWA, looking for a little bit of retribution there on Mickie James, and maybe essentially coming to her house, knocking her ass out and saying, "You want me at Empower? All right, bitch, you got my attention. I'll see you at Empower." That'd be pretty freaking epic. We'll see what happens. We will see what happens. But you know what? I'll talk a lot more about it on Monday, but I really feel in my heart of hearts that NWA and Impact and this relationship that they're, working with each other and everything, I can really see this truly being a mutual beneficial thing that would help out both parties, as opposed to what's currently going on with Impact and AEW. Without a shadow of doubt. Without a shadow of doubt. Hey, they made the announcement for Bound for Glory. It's going to be happening in Las Vegas. And it was interesting because they put up these logos. Now, look, if you want to read into it, go ahead. Me personally, I just thought it was cool because as long as I've been watching the Impact Wrestling product, I've never seen stuff like this incorporated with their Bound for Glory pay-per-view. But while they were putting over the Bound for Glory event in Las Vegas, they also showed the logos for AAA, New Japan, and AEW. So, you can't help but wonder exactly, what does this mean exactly? What direction are we going? Here? What can fans really expect at this Bound for Glory? Because Bound for Glory is pretty much their WrestleMania pay-per-view, if you will. So what exactly are we going to be seeing here? Marinate on that. We'll talk a lot more about that on Monday. Impact World title match, no DQ. Sami Callihan, Kenny Omega. All right. We got some good. We got some bad in here, right? Let me be real with you guys. First off, great fucking match. Wasn't expecting me to say that, right? Was not expecting me to say that. You've been checking out the shows. I'm pretty hard on Kenny Omega. This whole Kenny Omega belt collector thing. It does nothing for me. Right down to the point, and I sincerely meant this. I sincerely fucking meant this. I actually had said this in the forum. I said, if you were to give me racist ass Hulk Hogan and Kenny Omega at a mall, and I had to choose between the two of them, one person who I would run up to and just engage them in a conversation, which one am I going with? I'm fucking going with racist Hulk Hogan. That's how much I don't like Kenny Omega. That's how much I don't like Kenny Omega. And some of my buddies were like, "Damn, Lee, that's hardcore, man. Like, dude, that's too much, man." And some of them thought about it. They had to actually marinate on it. They were like, "Yeah, dog, I'm right there with you." It's like, see, like you feel where I'm coming from. But you know what? No, This was a excellent hardcore match. Kenny Omega rose to the occasion. He fucking rose to the occasion. He hit a home fucking run. Let me tell you, this is coming not only from the heart, but this is coming from somebody that has now been able to watch over a year plus of Kenny Omega's work, particularly since he's been involved with AEW and all that. You know, and like, I hear what people are talking about. Look, don't get me wrong. I love the feud that went down with Omega and Jericho from New Japan. I fucking got my New Japan subscription. I got my fucking New Japan pay-per-view because of what Jericho had did. So, yeah, that was like, no bullshit. That was like my real introduction to Omega. Saw some shit online, but never really invested until Jericho went and did his thing. So to now be able to get Omega on my TV on a weekly basis, and it's like, what the fuck? Like, you know, well, wait a minute. This guy I'm watching ain't quite matching up to what I was seeing in New Japan. What's going on here? It's almost like this version has been neutered. Like, what the hell? So to get this Kenny Omega tonight in this hardcore match, that would make the legends proud. That would make the Mick Foleys, the Terry Funks, the Sandmans, the Sabus. They would be very proud of this match that Callihan and Omega did tonight. They seriously would. I'm not throwing those names out there for the hell of it. They definitely would be proud of what these boys had did, because they went out there with a mission, which was, let's go entertain the fans. Let's get shit-faced stupid, and let's just go, you know, balls out crazy. And two things that I love the most about this main event match was the constant energy that was involved in this match, that maintained from start to finish. My eyes are glued, and I'm just, from the moment that fucking Callihan comes out, and then you got Don Callis, you know, and he is just going on and on and on and on, putting over Kenny Omega. And finally, Sami Callihan just has enough, and he just starts pouncing right on Omega. Puts him in the pile driver. You're going, oh shit, it's going to be like that? There's going to be a new champion just like this? You know, so like from that jump start, the match, very entertaining. Callihan taking the fucking pizza cutter and going to the forehead of Omega, busting out all of that fucking blood. Yeah, no doubt that Omega probably went to the side and there was a little blade job that he did or whatever, but just the visual. Just the fucking visual alone. Somebody taking a fucking pizza cutter. Just think about that. Somebody's taking a pizza cutter and they're going to your dome and just, hey, one slice, two slice, ha ha ha. Badass. Fucking badass. And then he follows it up and he's trying to fork Omega's ass. Oh, man. Loved it. I fucking loved it. Just everything visually. All of it. Awesome. Cool spots. Cool ass spots. Even the spot with the table. I was very concerned about the wooden table. I thought, as I was looking at them fighting, taking the action over to the table, looked like Omega was maybe gonna get it. You're like, oh, wait. It might go Sammy's way. Okay, it's going back to Omega. You're like, okay, table, if you're supposed to collapse, don't do it right now. Don't do it right now. We don't need you landing on Botchamania. Don't do it right now. Do it after the move. But no, that table, it held up pretty good with both of them. Sammy getting the best of Omega right there with his little spike pile driver. Beautiful. Just freaking beautiful. I loved it. even the finish to the match was awesome as well. I loved how we had the Good Brothers come out there. They were trying to balance out the odds, but then I'm trying to think who had came out. I believe it was who came out? Chris Sabin, I believe, was one of the guys that came out. I can't quite picture who the other guy was that came out. It's escaping me right now. And no, it was not Alex Shelley. Alex Shelley, far as I know, he has still not returned yet. God, who was it that... Edwards. It was Eddie Edwards. Yeah. It was our boys Eddie Edwards and Chris Sabin that have fought off the Good Brothers. So a lot of near falls that was going on there, and you're just wondering, okay, what's going to happen right here? And then, hey, not for nothing, but we still got Don Callis at ringside. Yeah, he's doing color commentating and all that, but how is this exactly going to balance out? And I'll tell you one thing that I was thinking about, and I wish that I would have been able to bring it up on the show from Friday, but I started thinking as I was watching all of these shenanigans come about, well, how badass would it be if Jessica Havoc were to come out and she actually, were to help Sami Callihan? And it makes all the sense in the world because they recently had announced their engagement. So it's like, okay, so essentially Sami Callihan, all right, he is a unsung member of Decay. So how badass would it be if on this night of all the nights, officially Sami Callihan, right? I mean, and eventually you gotta make that happen in Impact. You gotta somehow figure out a way to have Sami and Decay. You gotta figure out a way to make that work, because you'd be a knucklehead to not make that work, right? There's so much potential right there, so much. But I thought Jessica Havoc was gonna come out and try to balance things out. Maybe she'd get the best of Don Callis, but it didn't pan out that way. Kenny Omega throwing a handful of thumbtacks into the eyes of Callihan after Callihan first introduced the thumbtacks. He had him in a bag and all that, and but somehow he gets countered. Don Callis actually interfered. That's pretty much what it was once he saw what was going down. But yeah, Kenny Omega taking those thumbtacks. He originally put some in Sami Callihan's mouth, tried to make him swallow it, but Callihan fought it off. Omega then bounces off the ropes and pretty much knees him in the face. If you want to call that a mini V trigger or whatever, whatever the hell, like, sure, go ahead, whatever. But, or Enziguri or Shining Wizard, whatever you want to call it. I just know he did knock him silly in the face. That wasn't enough. There's a lot of fucking V triggers that was done to Callihan. The way Callihan was built up in this match, I mean, he came off tough as nails. No pun intended, but he really did come off very tough. And you just couldn't help but go, okay, what is it going to take for Omega to go in here and get this freaking dub? What's it gonna take? Omega then sticking the tacks to his knee pads and connecting to the face of Callihan, only getting that near fall, and then from there connecting with another V trigger and then a one-winged angel onto the tacks there to basically get the retain. Good shit. I mean, excellent. It was an excellent hardcore match. You were really there. You were invested from start to finish. Even everything that was going on in between. 3 refs getting taken out basically or whatever. Yeah, good shit right there. Now, here's where things... Remember I was talking about how the show was from a production standpoint and everything. Impact loses some major points right here. So, Elite, they pretty much all get in the ring together. They're celebrating. Lights go off. Next thing you know, they look to the Too Sweet, the Too Sweet sign on the Titantron, but then the Bullet Club logo appears. And the lights keep, flickering, going black, coming on and off. They stay off for a little bit, but then comes back on, and we got the Bullet Club logo. We see Jay White, the Switchblade, Jay White. He's there in the house. Gotta tell you, not that much of a pop for Jay White. I will gladly go back and play that back. Maybe I missed something there, but based off some of the comments I made and other people in our little private chat, wasn't that many strong reactions there for Jay White. Now, he wasn't getting booed, but the reactions were not that strong. They're not that strong. So this is definitely a case right here where, hey, know your promotions and all that. But Jay White walked his way to the ring, holding on to his never open weight championship. And when he enters the ring, you've got Kenny Omega and them. They're trying to have him do the Too Sweet. They're trying to get Jay White to do the Too Sweet with them. And you're like, okay, what's going on here? Is this a union here? What exactly is going on? And the next thing you know, the pay-per-view feed just abruptly cuts off. You get the Impact logo. And that's it. Now, when I say abrupt, let me just make sure I really, really stress this and bring this home. As Jay White is in the ring, you've got Matt Striker and D'Lo Brown telling us, the viewers, who Jay White is, why we should give a damn about him, bringing up the question, what's he doing here? Okay, what exactly is going on? Yeah, is he an ally of the Elite? What exactly is going on here? And they were just talking through it, and just boom, the pay-per-view abruptly ends as you continue to hear the commentating of Striker and D'Lo. And anybody that's been watching these Impact pay-per-views, you guys know very well that Impact, they always do an excellent job. Folks, we want to take this time. Thank you all so much for tuning in, joining us. It means a lot that you guys checked out this pay-per-view. We're seeing your social media engagement. Please keep it up. Man, what an exciting week we got coming up on Impact Wrestling. Post pay-per-view fallout. We didn't get any of that with this. So, yeah, that, having the feed cut out early, you kind of got the impression maybe there was going to be some type of a run-in. Maybe there was going to be some type of a beatdown or whatever. It's like you just feel that something weird was about to go down, but it was definitely, for such an excellent hardcore match. And other than what I saw of Omega and Jericho from New Japan, some of the stuff that I've seen with Omega in AEW, it's done nothing for me. Now, I definitely feel that him taking on Hangman, that's going to be fucking solid. That's going to be a solid ass match. I'm looking forward to that. I really am looking forward to that. What he did with Rich Swann was actually pretty solid as well. I will definitely admit that it was pretty solid. But just so far, since he's been the Impact champion for Impact title defense, this was his strongest so far. And just overall, when I just look at the Omega character, this was my most favorite match. Since we've been seeing Omega on a weekly basis on our TV sets, for me to date, this was the best performance of Omega, hands down. Made me have new props, made me have a new appreciation for him. I'm hoping that we can somehow build off of this and make it have a domino effect going down to AEW. I'm hoping we can, get to that point. But for a phenomenal main event match, great importance, and then to just end it so flat with the, feed being interrupted there and all that, just very flat. Very, very, very flat. But look at that teaser you got there. You got a Bullet Club leader and New Japan star in Jay White meeting the former leader of the Bullet Club and world champion of Impact to pretty much end your Impact pay-per-view. Kind of interesting. Kind of interesting there. Kind of interesting. So, scale of 1 to 10, 1 being shit, 10 being awesome sauce. I would say this pay-per-view, I would give it a honest. I got to include what went down with the production technical issues. If it wasn't for the production technical issues, I would gladly give this pay-per-view a 8 out of 10. But I'm going to stand firm and I'm going to say 7 out of 10. A 7 out of 10. I also got to factor in, not for nothing, but some of the matches that we talked about, some of the returns that we had. Like, honestly, I could have done without the Finn Juice spot. I could have done without that personally. To the point, it would have been cool had that actually been the pre-show and we had the Knockouts Championship match on the actual pay-per-view card. Just my personal preference. But just trying to think about other spots that had happened during the night. Yeah, just kind of one more time, just kind of going back and looking at the card. Just kind of going back and looking at the card one more time here. So other than having issues with that match, let me look here. Yeah, the Sabin Moose match kind of rubbed me the wrong way as well. Yeah, so 7 out of 10. I can't go any lower. Definitely cannot go any higher. Like I said, production, if that was cleaned up a lot better, especially the end of the pay-per-view, I would definitely go with an 8 out of 10. But 7 out of 10 is the best that I can do. Let me know what went down with you guys that ended up checking out the pay-per-view. I want to know what you guys had thought about it sincerely. I want to know what was your high points. I want to know what was your low points for the pay-per-view. So definitely sound off, please. Especially you're going to be checking this out on demand. Definitely leave your comments. I am most curious what you guys thought about it. And then also, I'm going to create a YouTube poll. Like as soon as this is over, I'm going to create a YouTube poll. So head over to the community section, youtube.com/the RCWR show, and click on the communities tab and vote. I want to know what you thought about the pay-per-view when you get a chance to check it out. So one show in the books. We got another one that's going to be coming you all's way less than about less than 20 hours from now, basically. We're going to have the WWE Money in the Bank pay-per-view. I will definitely be live right here after the pay-per-view goes off the air. We'll be talking about the pay-per-view fallout. We'll have an interactive poll. We'll definitely open up the phone lines as well. So definitely tune in, especially if maybe you want to talk about the Slammiversary pay-per-view. If by then you've seen the Slammiversary pay-per-view, and when we open up the phone lines, if you want to talk about Slammiversary for a couple of minutes on top of the Money in the Bank pay-per-view, you can definitely do that as well. As I get ready to make my exit, if you haven't done so already, kindly please go out of your way, make sure you hit that like button. It really helps us out big time, pretty much as far as the YouTube recommendations there. Lets the algorithm team know that, hey, decent amount of people had appreciated this. So definitely do that, because I know Impact doesn't really get the love and appreciation like it used to. Not that many people talking about Impact, so definitely means a lot. Help us out big time. Feel free to subscribe as well, and if you do, hit that bell so you know about more content coming your way. And we got podcasts available wherever you get your shit, man. So check out the shows wherever you get your podcasts. We're all over the place. I literally refreshed all the URL links in the episode description for some of our latest episodes, because I saw that some of the URLs, I didn't even know they were invalid, but at some point they expired. I didn't get a notification about it or nothing. So check out the synopsis. We got some new fresh hot URL links for you guys. Get at me on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. Use the keywords the RCWR show. If you're going to be waiting for the audio version of this, just give me about maybe 30 minutes. This will be a quick, nice little edit, and I will gladly have it be available. Shout out to our Patreon members, patreon.com/RCWR show. Check out bonus audio video content. Won't be able to find anywhere else. Shout out to our sponsors. Definitely major shout out to AUTOPURCHASERS.com. Oh, man, check them out. Please check them out. AUTOPURCHASERS.com. Selling your vehicle has never been so easier. AUTOPURCHASERS.com. Make sure you check them out. And you can get at me on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. Use the keywords the RCWR show. And until next go round, wishing all y'all to be safe and most importantly, be kind to one another. I will see you all next go round. Adios.